Hello and welcome to Economic Forum. My name is Tawanda Gudlanga. This week we are focusing on the cotton industry, and we have invited the board chair of COTTCO to share with us his experiences, his vision, as we seek to understand how we can revive the once thriving industry. Sir, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me, Tawanda, on the show.
400,000 families are direct beneficiaries of cotton industry today, but it has played a bigger picture in Zimbabwe. What have been some of the challenges with regards the cotton industry?
Some of the key challenges that happened in the past that led to the decline. Actually, the 400,000 is now the target that we are looking to move to, because right now the number is much smaller than that. The challenges that we experienced in the cotton industry at one time was the major issue of side marketing, which then resulted in some buyers coming to buy crop that they had not contracted, and resulted in affecting companies like COTTCO and other contractors who had actually given farmers inputs. Yes, there were also challenges of product pricing, but the total outcome of that was a collapse of the industry, a collapse of output to the level that cotton dropped from a high of about around 250, 300 metric tons to about 29,000 metric tons, which was really an all-out low, which then basically was going to lead to the demise.
So certainly you cannot attribute side marketing to such a fall from 300,000 metric tons to 29,000. Obviously, there must have been other key factors that may have led to the demise.
Well, why side marketing is the key one is that when in this particular year, the prior side marketing occurred in the prior year. So the contractors lost a lot of money. They put out millions into the project, and others got the product. So in the year with the lowest production, they now had no capital. So there were no inputs to give to the farmers, absolutely. And the little that was out there is then what led to the 29,000 output. So which is why the issue of side marketing is such a key problem. Because what someone is doing is, I give you seed, you produce crop, and I give you seed, fertilizer, and chemicals, you produce the crop, and someone comes and buys it. They've not incurred the cost of producing the crop. So I will not recoup any of the money that I've put out there. Remember, this crop is grown nationwide, so the level of working capital that goes into it is extremely significant, and a lot of it could be money borrowed from the banks. So the issue of side marketing is such a critical one that it will be one of the important risks to manage going forward.
Just tell us a bit about the state of the cotton industry. We want to understand the structure and the make. Whenever an ordinary person hears of cotton, the first thing they think about is the cotton company. But you are saying that there are other contractors out there. Just give us a structure of what the cotton industry is like.
All right. The nature of the cotton industry is such that you have several players in that value chain. And the contractor is the one that goes to the farmer. Remember, with the farmers that you're working with are those in region 4 and 5. So those are farmers that may not have their own working capital to do their own crop. So what will happen is the contractor, but they are the ones that can grow the largest amount of product, and they are the ones who the contractor is got to work with. So you now go to the farmer. You'll agree, perhaps each one will do about a hectare. So you give them the inputs that are required to do a hectare, which is your seed, your fertilizer, and your chemicals for pests and herbicides. So the farmer, the partnership that you're wanting to have with the farmer is that the farmer now will throughout that period plant the seed and take care of the crop. And when it now comes to the time of harvesting, you also need to give them the packs to pack the cotton in. And then thereafter, the farmer will now have the crop ready. Then the contractor has to also go and buy the product at growing points and bring the product back for ginning. This is the separation of the lint and the seed. So, and then thereafter, what then happens is you sell the seed, and then you sell you also sell the lint. And from the price that you pay the farmer, you ideally, before this recapitalization of the presidential input scheme, which has helped to recapitalize the industry, the contractor would then recoup the costs of what has been outlaid to the farmer and pay the farmer the difference. So when we now talk about side marketing, a player does not participate in this whole process. So because even when the farmer is working the product, the crop, you've got officers that are going out there and working with the farmer, helping them to make sure they get it right. So those are all costs. But now these these buyers of side marketed product, they wait, and everyone else will be doing this work. Then they just come and buy the product. So all contractors, any buyers, should only buy product which they've participated in terms of giving out inputs and helping the farmer to grow, the farmers that they've contracted. So so that's the point where it was happening, the challenge was happening.
Well, you are 2 months into the post of chair, and obviously these are some of the key issues that are affecting the cotton industry. But we have a parastatal, the cotton company of Zimbabwe, COTTCO. Does it not have enough teeth to be dealing with some of these challenges?
COTTCO is actually now basically a private company. Remember, it's actually listed and currently under voluntary suspension from the stock exchange. So COTTCO, its position is that it is a contractor. That role that I was talking about, that's the role that it has. And then you've got other enterprises that will manage the contractor-farmer relationship, like the AMA, Agricultural Marketing Authority. So that is the entity that's actually supposed to set up the parameters and help to prevent this side marketing.
So you basically agree with me that it's open sesame, there is no regulation whatsoever in the cotton industry?
There is. As I said, the regulator.
If there is, then how do we have side marketing and all this arbitrage happening right under the nose of regulation?
Well, as you have seen, there's been new boards that have been put up in the various enterprises, because AMA falls under the Ministry of Agriculture. So the mandate that they've also been given is to strengthen that oversight role. That is the key mandate.
Let's talk about it in the second segment. Do these new boards have the mandate to actually strengthen the value chains? Join us there. Welcome back. We are discussing the cotton industry, and with me is Mr. SIFELANI JABANGWE, the COTTCO board chair. Now, before you went to the break, you were talking about the role that COTTCO plays now. Privately owned, as it were, now on the stock exchange. Basically, it's just but a player. So how do we then get to deal with some of the challenges that are in fact bedeviling the cotton industry?
Just a slight clarification. Though we're a private player, the major shareholder is actually the government. And then you've got other minority shareholders. But in all intents, yes. So we are just another player. The other players within the sector. So this is where now the Agricultural Marketing Authority, as I indicated, comes in. And I'm sure hopefully we'll get a chance to bring them on the show just for them to clarify their role, because they have a mandate to do that. But ideally, they should come in and set the parameters and enforce that the players stay within the roles that they are supposed to stay in, and have oversight all these issues. So they are really now the regulator, the moderator for the sector. I mean, for all other crops, but including cotton. So we are going to be engaging with them quite significantly on this issue of side marketing.
So when we talk about COTTCO activities, in this instance, it is only having to come up with strategies to counter what other players are doing. In this instance, I understand you superintend over the presidential input scheme. So in that case, how are you ring-fencing your investment to ensure that other players do not come in? Because it looks like you are allowing players to actually invade your territory and as such take away what you would have invested in.
Our mandate is COTTCO, and the mandate that we've been given, and also what we are striving to achieve with COTTCO, is to make COTTCO the prime enterprise for in cotton contracting and processing. As you are aware, the Zimbabwe is moving towards a free economy status, and the presidential input scheme is only for now, and us being the government being a major shareholder in COTTCO, the product that is currently coming out is essentially mostly for COTTCO. So that's the start. But this is not going to go on forever. Really, this was an approach by government to restart, to help restart the production of cotton, which is a crop that provides livelihoods for a large number of people. So government, all it is doing is giving a kickstart to that process. So, but COTTCO is now, which is part of our mandate, must then convert into a viable commercial entity that competes with all other contractors that are out there. As I indicated, if COTTCO does not provide the best deal, then COTTCO will lose those farmers going out to work with other contractors. So this is really one of the key issues with our mandate, to ensure farmer viability, have farmers at the center of our strategy, and ensure farmer viability is topmost in terms of our consideration.
From analysis, one of the biggest pitfalls is the producer price, which farmers felt was really unfair and did not make economic sense. And as such, they had to side market, as you put it across. What measures are you putting in place to ensure that the farmer gets the value for their money?
Well, this is going to be a result of several actions that we are looking at, which is to increase efficiency and increase throughput. Because basically, cotton is being grown in other countries, and comparator countries can be countries like India, where it is also being used to improve livelihoods. So what we are doing as a board, as part of our strategies, is to also look at how all those other countries or enterprises in those countries are successfully growing cotton, so that we emulate, and all that should change is the geographical location of the operations. Then we do the same. We do the same here. So there are issues that we need to attend to, which may be issues relating to agricultural practices to ensure productivity by the farmers. Issues related to the actual seeds that we are using. There are various options that are being tested to see, can we use hybrid seed? What other seeds can we use? But of course, that is all going to start first and foremost in ensuring that we give the farmers the right inputs, and also train them for the best practices and so forth. So this is now, because as we came in, we've been working on a strategy for the next 3 years, which we are just finalizing, and that strategy is based on that. Because if we are efficient, what it means is the cost of operations of COTTCO will be improved. In the past, there used to be a structure where the farmer will be initially given a payment, and then after everything is done and the product is sold, if COTTCO is profitable, it pays a bonus to the farmers. And this is some of the structures that we are looking at. The board is made up of a number of technocrats who have worked in agriculture and in various areas. We are looking as well, there are other issues related to the gening process, which ended up at times damaging the crop or reducing the output and so forth. So there's a myriad range of issues that we've tabled to be tackled particularly in the next 12 months. And all these will result in improved efficiency. As an example, our farmers are achieving yields of about 250 metric tons per hectare. And in other parts of the world, they are ranging between 800. And you've got seed varieties that can give you as much as 2 tons per hectare. So you can imagine, if you work 300, you're not going to really make anything as a farmer. So the first issue is to get them to be in the global range. of productivity. So it's the same seed, same crop, it's in the land. So we just need to do how others are doing it and ensure we get the yields to be where they are. Some of it could be farmers may have been diverting inputs, but we need to deal with that. And there are issues also related to inadequate inputs being given to the farmers. Then the seed does not do as well. So it's those issues are what we'll deal with from the farmer side and ensure that so simply by improving productivity, you are going to be able to increase the yield or double the return for the farmer for the same work that they are currently doing.
Is it worth it to really continue pursuing in the cotton industry? Join us in the third and final segment. Welcome to the third and final segment where we are focusing on the cotton industry. We have invited Mr. SIFELANI JABANGWE, the board chair of the Cotton Company of Zimbabwe. From low yields, outstanding payments, among other issues, is it really worth it to still invest in the white gold? There is a legacy of debt by COTTCO. What are you doing to address this?
Okay, the outstanding payments are for last year's crop. As you are aware, because of the period that we are in, where the government where the government has provided the presidential input scheme for the inputs, there's also a subsidized price or a price incentivized price that was also offered to the farmers. So this is what we are currently. That is what is currently outstanding. A significant number of the farmers have been paid up to 60%. Though yes, there were concerns. People were saying COTTCO paid through groceries, COTTCO paid through that. I think this is an issue of perhaps people not having adequate information as to what really transpired. At the time that we were supposed to pay farmers, and last year, and we had the cash in the cash in our bank. That's when mobile payments were suspended in order to attend to issues that were prevailing at that time. And also the inflation was flying. And on explaining this to the farmers last year, it actually came as a suggestion from the farmers to say, you know what, the money that you're going to give us, we're going to use it to buy goods anyhow. Why don't you make arrangements with some of the suppliers of the goods that we want, and then we can go and collect the goods without us, the money coming to us, and then we go and pay, because if the money is not there, but at the moment we need those goods. So there was a range of goods which included plows and so forth, and COTTCO approached these suppliers, and the suppliers were happy to be able to do that. And this is how that structure then happened. Because had we just kept the money in the bank, value would have been eroded. And the second advantage that then came out, and also we also were in Mzarabani, the farmers in Mzarabani were saying, you have not acknowledged us. This suggestion came from us. It must be known as the Mzarabani project, though it went elsewhere, because we are the ones that suggested this. And also talking to the farmers were now saying, this time around, it was a good program. They were actually saying a component of it should continue. They were saying it was a good program. We now want to buy cars and other things that we don't have, because we were actually able to get assets which of significant value. So this is really how it happened. This is how that transpired, and we ended up having the farmers getting the various goods. So, and then, as we were saying, in order to take care of the payments, we are in contact with the government, because the government is helping us to at least pay that incentivized price. And this is just for this period where it was necessary to get the farmers back on the fields. As we have seen, the output grew from a low of 29,000 metric tons to last year where it was 82,400 metric tons. And we are now looking for this year, at least if the crop is not affected too much by rain, we're actually looking to achieve anything close to 300,000 metric tons.
But why still insist on cotton? I mean, we have the competitive disadvantages you put it across. Why still insist whilst other jurisdictions are doing better and obviously we're not competitive enough?
Well, I wouldn't say we are. The reason for us being uncompetitive is only been us not doing things the way others are doing it. That's where we got left behind. So this is what we need to sort out: practices, seed, ensure inputs on time, all those things to going to the farmers. Then we'll have this. We'll have the same output. Now, as a reason for us continuing cotton. When you look at what has transpired ever since cotton stopped being grown in those areas that way it was traditionally, but as I said, these are your rigid 4 and 5s. It took away the commercial crop that was available for farmers in those areas that to earn incomes. As you are aware, over 60% to 70% of the population lives in the rural areas. So when you don't have incomes, you look at the livelihoods of the people in that area. You look at the businesses that were operating in those areas. They were all shutting down, and jobs were getting lost. And when we went to Zarabani this past weekend, and we are having a partnership with ADA, where we are now growing part of our crop on one of their farms there, you could see the improved employment that's also been created. ADA is now employing more people to actually work on the commercial cotton that they're growing. And all these farmers are all saying, as I was saying before, they've managed to get scotch cards, they've managed to get assets, and their livelihoods have significantly improved. So from a livelihood improvement, it's important. But also it links into the economy. When the farmers spend, they are also feeding into the rest of industry, because what they spend if you produce by local industries, it stimulates demand. For this economy, cotton could give export revenues which could be as high as a quarter of what we're getting from tobacco. This country is currently having challenges of foreign currency. Hence, we have had challenges with the exchange rate. So that significant inflow that will result from a revenue from cotton will also help to stabilize the economy.
So are you saying that the cotton that we will be producing will be meant for export? I thought it is more or less of creating our own cotton industry where we have a field to clothing a strategy which is rather internal.
Tawanda, I want you to picture this. The production will be 300,000 metric tons, right? This is like 300 million kgs. So in terms of capacity that we actually have to convert into value-added products, at the moment, there's limited capacity to do that. That is, spinning to produce the yarn, and your weaving and so forth to produce the end product. So at the very start, we're saying the benefit comes to the economy from exploiting the raw product. But when we do that, we're not getting full value for our product. That aspect of white gold is not being felt by us. It's being felt by others who will take the product. Because the lint that someone will buy for about $1, they could make $75 out of it. So now to touch on the value addition side, we have also said COTTCO, since it's one of the largest players in the cotton value chain, we are going to be working with participating in the cotton to clothing strategy, seeing how best we can support other players. We're already working on tool manufacturing for yarn with one player. We're looking to increase that to all other players that would like to collaborate and cooperate with us. We are also going to be looking at external capacities outside of Zimbabwe, that we can say, this is our cotton, and there's a market for the end product. Can you toll manufacture for us? Then we give them the product, and we go to our markets. So this is what we're looking at. So the cotton to clothing, the strategy is under the Ministry of Industry. So we're going to be cooperating with that, with the value chain players, to see how best we can support them, and even if it means to some extent we also invest in our own value addition capacities, because the cotton to clothing, currently we are value adding less than maybe between 5 to 10% of the crop that we are producing. So we are looking to support and promote and participate in and grow the value added lead to about 30% of the increased production.
Well, SIFELANI, we really would love to have more coming from you, but unfortunately time has run out. Hopefully you will be back again to give us an update. It's been 2 months since you were appointed board chair. We certainly will be following up on your strategies as you've alluded, but thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Todd.
Our guest was Mr. SIFELANI JABANGWE, who is the COTTCO board chair. He is also a former president of the Confederation for Zimbabwe Industries and a board member by Zimbabwe. We've come to the end of the program. Join us again next week. My name is Tawanda Gudlanga. On behalf of the crew behind the scenes, it is pleasant viewing.